Welcome back to another video, guys. My name is Cable, and today we're talking about how to kill Juggernauts more effectively in Warzone. Before we get straight into the video, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to JGod, as he really helped get my last video, which was the glitch for unlimited Juggernauts, seen and heard by the community. If you haven't seen that video, I'll go ahead and put the link in the description. I highly suggest you check that out. Also, a quick update. The servers were down for a couple of hours today, December 7th, but unfortunately that did not remove the infinite Juggernaut glitch. Alright, let's hop right into the video. We can assume in the near future they will be removing the Juggernaut Infinite glitch, but we are not sure yet if they're going to be keeping the Juggernaut as a guaranteed loot item inside of the train Easter egg. This brings me to my first tip. Try your best not to let anyone get the Juggernaut. This guarantees that a squad cannot do the Infinite glitch, and the only way a Juggernaut will be able to spawn is through a red access bunker, and that drop chance is very, very low. There are only two access points you need to prevent the enemy teams from getting to. The first is going to be in downtown, at the Parliament building, or the building with the pillars and the C shape in the front. This is where they start the puzzle. I joined a game of Plunder to simply show you these access points, and even in Plunder people were practicing to do the Infinite glitch. Thank goodness I had a Ram 7. The first access point you're going to need to defend is behind the counter in the Parliament building. This is what officially starts the Easter egg. If you prevent a team from getting to this, you prevent a Juggernaut from ruining your game. If you die contesting this building, or if another team gets there first and starts the puzzle, head straight to the second access point, as this is the highest likelihood that you will prevent them from completing the Easter egg. The reason you don't want to stay in this area is because this building has 4 entrance and exit points. It's very hard to cover all of these, and any team leaving will expect a fight right outside the doors. Instead, we're going to head straight to our second access point, which is located at the subway station at the airport. You'll need to find the room with the 2 green TVs. This is exactly where they will call the subway car that takes them to the Juggernaut. Most teams will take the subway system to get here, so just find a good spot to camp and fry them as soon as they get off the train. Here's a great example of this from a recent solos game I was playing, where the puzzle was already started, so I ran straight to the second access point, knowing he was coming. A PP by zone. If you're anything like me, you're not going to want to camp 2 locations every single time you spawn into Warzone. This means inevitably at one point in your match, you're going to hear a Juggernaut has spawned on the map. Pay close attention to where this spawn is happening, where the vehicles are around that spawn, and where the circle is in relation to all of this. The initial spawn and early moves made by the Juggernaut are the most exploitable because they are the most predictable. The Juggernaut will go straight for a vehicle. At this point, they will typically do one of 2 things. If they're playing aggressively, they will start grabbing bounty contracts in order to rack up as many kills as possible. If they're playing defensively, they'll start to grab recon contracts in order to find the final circle to camp it out. This is where most players make a mistake. They don't pay attention to what the Juggernaut is doing and why he is doing it. Instead, they do everything in their power to avoid the Juggernaut altogether, which usually means they meet him again in the final circle, where close quarters combat paired with other players picking you off prevents you from ever being able to beat him. That's why my next tip is to engage with the Juggernaut early and in a strategic way. The biggest piece of advice I can give is to focus on the vehicle that the Juggernaut is in or on and destroy it. Once the Juggernaut has no vehicles, the combination of poor range and lack of mobility renders them almost completely useless in any engagement over 50 or 60 meters. Let's take a look at an example where I'm almost at full health and my vehicle gets destroyed. If taking that much health out of a Juggernaut doesn't make you want to run rocket launchers right now, I do not know what will. That being said, that damage was only because I was on the car that exploded. Regular rockets do not do that much damage. But let's take a look here right now. We're at about 60 meters in this engagement. You'll see if he has something to hide behind, I am almost useless at shooting him. This way I'm looking at about 75 meters, and there is nothing I can do as a Juggernaut. Couple hit markers there. Can barely get a hit marker there. With no vehicles and 70 meters between us, the Juggernaut is rendered useless. Let's take a look at a couple of real game examples. The first will be from a game of trios where I saw the Juggernaut camping in the firehouse on top of dam. This was very early in the match before the second circle had started to close, but I noticed the Juggernaut only had 1 vehicle at firehouse and the next nearest vehicle was very, very far away. Knowing how powerless he would be in that position without a vehicle, I knew I had to go destroy it. So I headed over with a precision airstrike. I had my teammates keep pinging the Juggernaut, so I knew exactly where he was. We need to take a pause here to talk about score streaks. I know most players hold on to these till the very end of the match, hoping that they're going to land a direct hit on the Juggernaut. And as that does happen sometimes, it is very, very difficult to land that hit. Instead, use score streaks to try to destroy Juggernaut's vehicles or limit their movement. In this specific example, I knew the Juggernaut was headed down to the ground floor, and I wanted to make sure he couldn't take the vehicle and leave. I heard him start shooting somebody else, so I quick popped in there, fired a couple shots on him, and then went to go steal the vehicle.
Our team's in a safe zone.
Bounty target is up. Let's get it done.
At this point, because of his lack of mobility, there is nothing he can do to stop me from grabbing this vehicle, and now he's essentially stuck at the firehouse. Take a look how effective this truly was. With no vehicles, he has to cross the bridge on foot with the gas behind him. There's absolutely nothing he can do and he dies. Another great example of this can be seen from a recent game of duos I was playing, where there was 2 Juggernauts camping ATC. Take a moment to look at exactly where they're camping, as it's not in the top tower. This is extremely important to note, because if they were camping the top tower, there would only be one entrance point up the cable, so they are doing this intentionally to protect their vehicles. With constant live pings on the Juggernauts, I know when it's safe to approach and put a landmine on the first vehicle. If the Juggernaut enters this vehicle, he's going to take that massive damage we saw earlier. As I make my way around to safely place a second landmine on the other vehicle, I get the notification that I've destroyed the vehicle. At this point, I know that one of the Juggernauts is injured, and they will most likely be heading straight to the next vehicle as the gas is coming soon. I wanted to safely approach, so I went up the cable and tried to hop down on top of them, hoping to throw the landmine in front of the door, but I was just too late. Luckily, the lobby had done enough damage to the vehicle to disable it, and the Juggernauts were left stranded in the middle of the airport runway with no vehicles nearby. With one Juggernaut dead, I wanted to try to troll the last one, so I tried to corner him and then throw the landmines down, but he died before my truck exploded. This whole interaction starts, though, with one of them severely damaged and only one vehicle instead of 2 full health Juggernauts and 2 vehicles. Again, the play of removing vehicles is so incredibly strong. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this video. So again, just to recap, if you can, completely prevent the other teams from getting Jug, attack the Juggernaut early, don't be afraid to use your score streaks, and above all, please kill their vehicles. They are so useless without their vehicles. As a new creator, I genuinely appreciate every like, comment, and subscribe. So like, comment, subscribe, hit that little yellow bell, and I'll see you next time.
Primary objective complete. Good work out there.